These 7 fragrances are perfectly well blended, and 5 of them are very unique smelling, especially the last one. And I think I can say that I'm the very first reviewer who talks about this fragrance. So make sure to watch till the end. We start off the list with Parfums de Marly Pegasus. This is a very unique smelling fragrance. It's a vanilla fragrance with almond, and the bitter almond gives like sort of metallic vibes to it. That's why they probably put it in a metallic looking bottle, but it is a very unique blend. It also has like floral aspect, it's a bit powdery, it has heliotrope, which also gives off a vanillic smell, combined with lavender and jasmine. Jasmine is of course a very sweet floral fragrance, like a note. It's a beautiful blend. The sandalwood is very creamy, combined with the vanilla and the amber. This is a beautiful blend and it's very seductive in my opinion. This is an older batch, so it's very strong. It projects, it has an amazing silage, a big scent bubble around you, and it's a massive compliment getter. I would say not a safe blind buy at all, because I think this is a love or hate fragrance, because it's very sweet. It's not for everyone, but I would suggest you to sample this at least. In my opinion, this is a perfect fragrance, especially perfect for like date nights. You will make a big impression, and ladies usually really love sweet fragrances. I always get compliments when I wear this. So I would say it's perfect for fall, winter, spring, but according to my friend Falco Fragrance, I will tag his Instagram account here, he says that it's perfect for summer as well. So he's wearing it in the high heat. I haven't tested it out, but I'm going to test it out this summer. It's still pretty cold in the Netherlands, like 18 degrees Celsius. So I cannot test it out yet, but when it's going to be hot, like soon, I will test it out. But at least get your nose on this, sample this fragrance, because in my opinion, this is perfect. Parfums de Marly Pegasus. Next up, we have Sora Dora Mandorle. This is another underrated gem in my opinion. I was wearing this like, I don't know, 2-3 days ago. My girlfriend was also wearing this, I think 2 days in a row, like yesterday and the day before, something like that. Very unisex, but I think personally, this is very sexy on a man, like even more sexy. I would think it's even sort of like more masculine sort of, because it has that rum note. It's a bit boozy, it is warm, spicy, it is nutty, it has that almond DNA, like Pegasus, but totally different fragrance. But that almond comes off more like a cherry almond. Like it's very unique, it's really nice. If you like fragrances like Kilian's Angel Share, Parfums de Marly Ocean, for example, stuff like that, in that similar scent profile, that DNA, this is still very unique and does its own thing. It's powdery, it's musky, it's sweet, it's warm, spicy, it's woody, it has tonka bean, and this whole combination, it has caramel as well. It's very sweet, it's very like inviting. It's a gourmand fragrance, but this is like, let me just spray it in here. I just want to spray, like, look at that atomizer. Like, whew, this is so, this is a masterpiece. I really, 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 really love this fragrance. I wouldn't say it's a safe blind buy unless you like those scent profiles. You know, you like gourmand, you like warm, spicy, and sweet and boozy. You like Ocean, for example, or you want something similar but still different. You like Angel Share, you want something in that direction. Still very different. I wouldn't say it's redundant to own these. Like, I also have another fragrance in this list that I'm going to talk about later, that's also in that same scent profile, but also does its own thing. But this has that, also that leathery vibe to it. It's like a very smooth leather. I wouldn't say, like, people are sometimes like, I don't like leather fragrances, they're sometimes too much in your face. This is a very smooth leather. I think if you let this smell to people, nobody will really notice the leather unless you have an experienced nose like me. But it's like a very beautifully well blended smooth leather. Still, I would say sample it first, but in my opinion, 10 out of 10 must-have fragrance. Sora Dora Mandorle. Next on the list we have Mind Games French Defense. Just look at this bottle. Beautiful, right? And the magnetic cap. Like, they improved the caps because I also have 2 others from them. They don't have the magnetic caps. But this one was out of stock for at least 3 months. And for a good reason, because this is one of the best fragrances, or maybe the best from the house. And this was on my wish list since December. I was in New York at ScentSplit, but like on the Monday, so after the event, I was exploring the city, of course. And I went behind the Plaza Hotel, where Home Alone 2 is filmed. There's Bergdorf and Goodman. That's like a super luxurious warehouse. And in the basement, they have a major department full of fragrances like Clive Christian, Roja Parfums, The Harmonist, name it. Like, they had a lot of amazing brands, including Mind Games. And the salesperson was a very nice guy, very passionate about fragrances. And we were talking about, like, you know, fragrances that had a big collection and this and that. And he said, like, all right, if you like these kind of fragrances, I'll show you a few. So he let me smell French Defense and Leonora, which is also one of my favorites, and Queening. Those 3 were the best 3 in my opinion. And all of those 3 were out of stock for, I think, 3 months. Like, not available because, yeah, they're best sellers, and for a good reason. This is a black cherry ambery fragrance. So it has like a cherry, but in a very sexy way. I would say this is one of the best cherry fragrances on the market right now. Still, the very, very best is still, in my opinion, Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum, especially my older, this is 2020 batch. Upstairs I have a 2016 batch. Beautiful, but if you love cherry fragrances, even if you don't love cherry fragrances, you have to try this, because this is a unique cherry. It has the black cherry, it is sweet, it has beautiful floral aspects, it's very ambery, it has some woodiness to it. It's a beautiful blend, I would say. Not a safe blind buy at all. Very decent atomizer. It sprays like very forward. It's also fresh and ozonic. It has a very unique combination of notes. It's sweet, it's fresh, it is woody, but it's also like inviting and warm at the same time. I would say massive compliment getter. I've worn it a couple of times and I resprayed it a lot, like in the morning and also as my scent of the evening, just to wear it again. Just like, you know, chilling at home and bringing my girls to school in the morning. And everybody was like, whoa, what are you wearing? This is really good. So I would say get at least your nose on it, at least sample it. Maybe not a safe blind buy, it's also pretty expensive, but check this one out. French Defense by Mind Games. Next on the list we have Superz Budapest. As you can see, I have this bottle in my collection for about 2 months and it already has a big dent. Because I wear it myself a lot, also as my scent of the morning, scent of the evening. But even my girlfriend steals it from me sometimes, but she's a sissy sprayer, so she does 2 or 3 sprays. But look at the atomizer, because these sprays, these are mists. This is, I'm going to regret this in the morning, because I will still smell this in the morning. This is a beast. This is really strong. It really, like, for real, it penetrates your nostrils. Like, I have allergies, like hay fever. I'm going to sneeze, for real. See? Not even joking, this is really strong. But it's amazing. I'm a big gourmand lover, as you know by now probably. And this is one of my favorite gourmand fragrances ever. It is a very sweet and warm spicy fragrance. It has like honey, caramel, vanilla, tonka bean. It's ambery. It is musky. It has iris. It's a bit powdery at the same time. It has a little touch of milk, a little bit lactonic, but altogether a very sweet and seductive gourmand fragrance with a nice woodiness, with cedar wood. It's, in my opinion, unisex, but more masculine. I would say, in my opinion, this is more masculine. But my girlfriend was wearing it, I think, a few days ago, I don't know. And it smelled amazing on her. And she had night shift. The next morning when she came home, I could still smell it on her. This is a beast. This will last on skin at least 12 hours, on clothing, days. And you saw the atomizer. This is no joke. Like, for real, it's extrait de parfum. It's only 50 ml. But I think for a regular user, 2 sprays, maybe 3. Like if you go to the office, 1 or 2 sprays max. Okay, I'm an oversprayer. Even with this mist, I still do like 15 sprays, but I don't care. But like, you don't need to spray a lot because it's a beast. I would say get your nose on this. They aren't expensive. They are cheap actually, in my opinion. This is like 110 euros or something. 10% discount code, Jarino10. I would say blind buy it if you love gourmand fragrances and you want a beast mode, sexy fragrance, massive compliment getter. Get this one. Check this one out. Next on the list, another unique fragrance, Tonka Extraordinaire by EPC. This is a beautiful Tonka fragrance. It's like a very ambery, balsamic, nutty Tonka fragrance. It is warm, spicy, it has some woodiness, and the patchouli in here gives off a little bit of like chocolatey vibes. And it has like myrrh, and tonka bean, of course, the name says it. But that nuttiness with the almond and the hazelnut, it's a very unique, a very beautiful blend. It has some gourmandish vibes, but it also has that warm spiciness, a little bit of aromaticness even, and like a balsamic feeling to it. And that patchouli, that gives it a little bit of slightly earthiness, not too earthy, but it's more a little bit chocolatey. I think this is a very unique blend. I have never smelled anything like this before. I discovered this brand at Exans in Milan in March, 3 months ago already. But this was my favorite from the house so far. But they have a lot of beautiful fragrances. And I'm going to get more. And I'm going to talk about more of those fragrances. But this is not a safe blind buy. But it's a very beautiful and unique fragrance. And a perfect 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Amazing performance as well. These are 50 ml. I would say at least sample this. Because this is, in my opinion, a masterpiece fragrance. A beautiful brand, and I will talk about it more, so stay tuned. EPC Tonka Extraordinaire. Next up we have Nuit, Nomade, Sugar, Leather. And this is a very beautifully well blended leather fragrance. I would say it's leather wrapped around with caramel. The leather is super smooth, it's not in your face. If you don't like leather fragrances, the leather is detectable. But it's like a very beautifully well wrapped around caramel and cinnamon leather fragrance. So that's mostly what you get. Like the caramel and the cinnamon. It's sweet. It is warm, spicy. It has that amorous, like the balsamic touches. It has labdanum. It is woody. It's very inviting. It's a beautiful gourmand fragrance. If you would compare it to other fragrances, I would say it has similarities to Sora Dora Mandorle. I talked about this before in the video. It's not similar, it's not a clone, but they share similarities. Parfums de Marly, Ocean, Killian's Angel share. If you like those scent profiles, I would say check this one out. It's not redundant to have like all 4 of these in your collection because they all do their own thing. But if you like those scent profiles, that gourmand, warm, spicy, sweet scent profiles, you have to check this one out. The packaging is beautiful. They have amazing prices, great performance, eau de parfum. I would say it's 160 euro for 100 ml. You can get 10% off the official website. I put the code here on screen, Jarino10, I think. And I would say not a safe blind buy unless you love Angel Share, unless you love Ocean. If you love those scent profiles, check this one out because it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece in my opinion. Sugar Leather by Nuit, Nomade. Last but not least, we have Dévier Acid Rain. This is such a masterpiece. This is such a unique smelling fragrance. I've never smelled anything like this. It has touches of everything. It's a very complex fragrance. It's hard to describe it actually. I would say it is soapy, sort of. It has some soapy vibe to it, but it's fresh and it's sweet. It's aromatic, it's woody, it's musky. It has Mexican chocolate. It has truffle. The truffle note is a beautiful note that it shines in the top and you smell it throughout the fragrance. Like the truffle note, it's so unique. This is such a unique blend. It's a very complex blend. It has floral aspects, it has fruity aspects, it has citrusy vibes. The aromaticness with the creamy sandalwood combined with also patchouli, which gives it like just a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of chocolatey vibes combined with that Mexican chocolate. The muskiness and the vanilla and the amber. Like it's such a complex fragrance. And this fragrance really shines, in my opinion, when it's about like springtime. When it's between 15-20 degrees Celsius. You go outside, it's a bit windy because the fragrance really changes outside. You catch the wind, you get sweet whiffs, and then you get fresh whiffs. But it's mostly, it's hard to describe it. It changes every time. Like you get so many notes, you get so many different aspects of the fragrance. Like that citrusy freshness combined with the sweetness and the truffle note and the chocolate. And normally I don't really like chocolate in fragrances, but this chocolate is so smooth. It's how they blend it in this fragrance. And it's an extrait de parfum. It's very strong and it leaves oil stains on your skin. So also watch out with clothing. I always spray on my clothing, but like if it's a gray shirt like this or a lighter shirt, I'm always a bit like more careful. But if it's a dark shirt or anything, I just spray on my clothing. This stays on clothing for days. It has amazing performance. It's an 80 milliliter bottle, but it's totally worth your money. It's even cheap. I think you can get this for 170 euros. I will put the link on the website from Arts Parfumo Milano. That's from my friend Gianluca. I've met him in Milan. He gifted me this fragrance because he said like it's a very new brand. Not a lot of people are talking about it. And he let me smell the whole line. And he said, pick one. I was like, really? He said, yeah, pick one. I was like, for real? Like, yeah. So this was my favorite choice. But check out the whole brand. Nobody's talking about this brand. I think it's a Mexican brand or a Colombian brand. I think it's a Mexican brand, but they are made in Colombia. But all of these fragrances, I smelled 5 or 6, I think 6, all very unique. Beautifully well blended fragrances, beast mode performance. You really, really need to check this one out. I would say if I now make a top 10 out of all of my fragrances, I put this in my top 10. It's a masterpiece. Check this one out. Not a safe blind buy though. Thanks again for watching. It would be really helpful if you like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel, of course. But let me know what you think of the fragrances. Have you smelled these before? Maybe you have one of these, that's also possible. Or you bought samples. Just come back, give me feedback. Maybe you are like, oh, I bought samples and I love them. Just come back to this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Or just leave your scent of the day right now. My scent of the day, another masterpiece. Soma Parfums Halcyon Oud. I'll just respray it because even if I'm going to bed, it doesn't matter. This is, yeah, 100 bottle limited edition. They have to really make more bottles. This is such a masterpiece. I will talk about this. I talked about this in another video. I'll leave the link in the description, but this is also out of this world. So in the meantime, check me out on every channel, like on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm daily posting 2 short videos a day, like 2 TikToks, 2 Instagram Reels, 2 YouTube Shorts. I post my scent of the day every day in the community section. And next week, on the Saturday, I will be back with another full video. You may overspray. Namaste. Thanks for watching.